Joining me today on Impact Catalyst is the newly elected chair of the Board of Trustees for the Community Foundation of Tampa Bay, Mike Starkey. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Congratulations on the new appointment. That's a great honor.
Thanks. Yep, it really is an honor. I'm honored to be asked to lead it. Excited for the opportunity for the next couple of years here.
And you've had a good run up to this role. You've been with on the board and working with the CFTB now for about 7-8 years or so. And so you've had a seat right at the table there to see how it's grown over the last few years.
Yeah, it's been big changes. I initially got involved through our family foundation, and where versus starting a private family foundation, did it through community foundation for the advantages that it has, and then got involved with the investment committee, ended up chairing that and then the board. And it's been it's a large, complex organization that provides a lot of different services. So it's not something you pick up quickly. So it's good to have a long run and get a better understanding for the breadth of the services provided.
And as people, join forces with the Community Foundation in Tampa Bay, a lot of times they're going to face the same decision that you faced, whether to do it, themselves as a family office, or whether it makes more sense to make the choice that you did. Can you talk a little bit about that decision process and why you ultimately decided to go with the CFTB?
Yeah, there are a few different factors. I mean, whether it's individual or even corporate philanthropy, for example, we're the philanthropic arm for Smith and Associates, and we serve that same purpose for U.S. Ameribank before they merged with Valley, for example. And then you have individuals. It's a matter of setting up essentially a donor advised fund or family foundation where say you have it's perfect if you have a liquidity event or a strong stock market like we've had lately, right? So individuals have stocks that have run up and they can create a fund at the community foundation and get the tax consequences that year and then donate it out over time. The way we looked at it was, okay, what is our charitable giving plan for the next, not necessarily the next 5 years, but the next 20, 30 years? What's a good time to fund that makes financial sense for us and then allows us to grant it out over time. The specifics of the family foundation is when my wife and I are gone, for example, our kids will then the fund will still be there for them to do donor advised grants out of that. And obviously versus a private family foundation with the administrative call, everything else, the community foundation, takes a small fee and you get all those services. Plus they provide the program services to really vet the nonprofits that you're interested in. They also have, PR marketing, but we really like the vetting piece because if you're giving to a specific nonprofit or field of interest, things can change in the next 30 years, right? That nonprofit that you're interested in could merge or change directions, in that time frame. And that way that allows them to switch it to something you would be interested in.
And that's a great point because, other than the financial benefits, the sort of opportunity sourcing is sort of the next thing that comes to mind as a benefit they provide. They have their finger on the pulse for the best places to plug in funds. But then even taking that a step further, as you just mentioned, sometimes, you might plug something in someplace for a few years, but things may change. And so you just have that peace of mind knowing that, somebody's sort of minding the shop and making sure that the dollars are being spent and used as well in year 5 as they were in year 1.
Yeah, well said. It gives you a peace of mind knowing that you don't have to worry about things changing. Somebody's you have that intermediary providing that oversight role.
So the community foundation is rolling along really nicely. You probably don't need a lot of major pivots. So part of the job in sort of being chair is to just keep the success moving at a good clip. But you also have the opportunity to make a few changes and a few innovations. Are there any specific areas you're targeting to look into as chair?
Yeah, it's really interesting because, if you look at the history of the community foundation and not just here, but any community foundation, they typically start off on the donor services side, right? Just like we discussed, where people are looking for maybe a easier way of giving, maybe get tax consequences, maybe get some assistance, that type of thing. And then they really start developing out more of the program services, being that collaborative hub for nonprofits, like we become, like we released the critical needs list for Tampa Bay last year during COVID, doing those type of activities. And now we've really seen the move into I'd say a leadership kind of, to our, your name being a catalyst in really bringing together different nonprofits with different donor examples to really provide those strong partnership examples. For example, the county, for example, under the CARES Act had money to give away, and a portion of that to nonprofits. So they worked with the community foundation, and the community foundation became that arm that enabled them to give that money away. They had a certain amount of money to give to nonprofits within a certain time frame. They're not staffed to do that. So the community foundation was a perfect partner for that. We also, I think you're familiar with our LEAP initiative, which is really focused on secondary education in Tampa Bay and really trying to get to that goal of 60% having that secondary degree. So some really neat leadership examples, but I really see that as a major growth area, being to have more of those examples we can talk about.
And we've experienced that personally. The Community Foundation of Tampa Bay is one of the founding members of our Impact Council here at the Catalyst. And, getting to work with Jesse and obviously Marlene and the rest of the folks there, they've really lent a lot of great insight into our work. So that's been consistent with what you had to say.
Yeah, and we opened up the St. Pete office, about I guess it's about a year ago, maybe a little less, but that's been just a tremendous asset for us. Great location downtown to build awareness that, it's Community Foundation of Tampa Bay. We have, serve the regions, we have the regional councils, and having that presence in St. Pete, I think, was really important.
So in addition to celebrating your new role, anytime we put a piece of content out, we're theoretically reaching some new folks who maybe are thinking about becoming more philanthropic, maybe thinking about starting a donor advised fund. So, what are just a couple of the key points you'd like them to remember, about the giving landscape in the area, or working with the foundation, or just being more philanthropic in general?
Well, I think, this was not my term, but it was at a professional advisor conference I was at. And one of them said, well, I tell my clients that you're going to eventually give it away. So you might as well decide how you're going to give it away now. And, we're all at different stages of our life, right? So you have to be at the right stage of your life to do that. And, have those resources available to do it. But I think if you look at just look at your giving as a long-term charitable plan, what you want to do, the community foundation can assist you in how you want to set that up. We have folks who have private stock, for example, where they sell their company, they have a liquidity event. Great opportunity to, look at that charitable giving plan, funnel those resources, monetary resources, with the tax consequences into a fund that you can then grant out from there. And I think the other piece people can look at is look at the critical needs list. I mean, that really came together last year with the pandemic. It was, the nonprofits were immense pressure on them to provide increased resources, and providing that central hub of information that listed the nonprofits, their needs specific, and what they could do with it, the benefit could have. Interested donors can find, areas of interest for them, and, make contributions.
It's good information. Well, I appreciate you giving us a few minutes of your time. I know you've got a lot going on, but really appreciate your service in the previous years, and look forward to supporting you in any way we can as you lead in the coming year. And Community Foundation will have the website listed below, but to encourage anyone who wants to learn more to check them out and see their content on our Impact Catalyst page and in the Impact Council. And thanks again.
Well, thank you, Joe. Excited for the next couple of years here.